Hey everybody, it's Peon from Beyond the Metagame, and I feel like something needs to be said. Throughout the history of the podcast Beyond the Metagame, and also just in conversations I have with people who aren't even involved with Smash, people that are involved with Smash, I've always painted the pursuit of competitive Smash Brothers as a noble endeavor. I know that most people involved with the scene have had a lot of positive experiences because of their participation with competitive Smash. I think that the framework of the greater scene, where you have local power rankings and state rankings and national rankings, and you have this aspirational pathway that you can march towards if you practice hard enough, if you persevere hard enough, if you're skilled enough at the game. And I think that the pursuit of excellence within Smash has enabled me to develop skills, but also many people to develop skills that are applicable in other places in life. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It's one of my most favorite things in the entire world. But as a result, I think I've also looked at the greater Smash community through rose-tinted goggles. I've put it on a pedestal naively. And horrible things have happened as a result of the Smash ecosystem. Some of the most beloved members of our community, the most powerful, have successfully and horrifically abused some of the most vulnerable members of our communities. Young people, minors, women who make up a tiny minority of the greater scene, have not been safe. And, people that we look up to have been responsible for vile acts of sexual assault and rape. And it's all coming to light. Accusations are coming forward. Victims are being brave. They're speaking out. They're getting their share of harassment for doing so. And, but they're coming forward with truth. And it's painful. It's very, very painful. The pain, of course, I'm sure pales in comparison to the pain experienced by the victims who have been holding their abuse for, in many cases, a very long time. And so first off, I want to acknowledge the suffering that the victims have experienced, and I want to announce solidarity with them. We weren't there for you then when you were abused. We're listening now. We're here for you now. And at least in terms of the Beyond the Metagame community, I can confidently say we're here for you. I'm listening. If there's any way I can help, I don't know what I can do. Please reach out to me. But beyond that, I want to identify why this abuse was able to be facilitated, and hopefully provide a couple of solutions. So one issue with Smash is that, and I think you guys can see this on your local scene, but even more so on a national scale, is that it's a meritocracy. If you're good at the game, you have power. You're well respected. Okay? And Smash is an interesting beast because compared to other online communities, we have to meet in person. We're sharing hotel rooms, and we're bumping elbows. And one beautiful aspect of Smash, this is perhaps the most tragic thing of all, is that there's much diversity of age within the community. I know at my local scene, there's people who play in their 40s, and there's people who play that are under 10 years old. And it's a beautiful thing because, it normalizes, from the perspective of a young child, the idea that playing a video game competitively is cool. Adults can do it. It's a fun, it's a noble, worthwhile hobby. When I was young, I'm still young, but when I was 9, 8, gaming was for nerds. And now adults do it proudly. And I think that there's value in that. Older members of the community have not only the opportunity, but the obligation to serve as role models for these children, for these minors. And many have failed. So this power relationship that exists even in the local scene between adult and child is very real. And I think it's very often a blessing. I think that there's a lot of value in being able to be a role model for a child, right? It's like, you're helping out a kid, you're showing them the ropes, you're giving them advice in life, showing them how to play the game, And it helps the kid because they're taking some of your knowledge, but I think even more so, it helps the role model. It gives you meaning. It makes you feel good. You're able to provide something for something so innocent as a child. It is gruesome that people who are on the top of the Smash Power food chain, top commentators, top players, have leveraged this relationship for the sake of their own power and sexual pleasure. And it's unforgivable. It's not only a betrayal to the victims themselves, which of course it is, it's a betrayal to the greater framework of the entire Smash community. It corrupts a piece of the wider Smash scene that gives the wider Smash scene meaning. Now, when kids go to tournaments, they should be afraid. If I was a parent or an older brother, I would think twice about having my kid go to these tournaments. And I think that'd be the responsible thing to do. And that's tragic. I mean, this is a video game about like Mario punching Princess Peach. It's for kids, It is. And we've allowed a system that has put our most vulnerable in danger. Sorry. We have two options. We can throw the whole ship in a fire and let it sink. Good riddance. We can't trust anyone anymore. A lot of our heroes are responsible for some of those vile acts within the scene. So who can we trust? You can look at it pessimistically, and I wouldn't blame you. Hell, I'm almost there. Or we can double down on vigilance, on responsibility. We can say that we're going to be the difference going forward, and whether or not someone vulnerable in our scene is going to be abused. And that's going to take diligence. I want to address some specific ways we can get there. Underage drinking is a huge problem within the Smash scene. And look, I've been to many events or heard of events or been to Smash Fests, been to Smash major tournaments where there's 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds drinking. And people are buying them alcohol. You're buying minors alcohol. Or you have the situation where you're a host and you have a Smash Fest at your house, and someone gets abused at your house during a Smash Fest. In any of these events, you're complicit in the abuse that takes place in the minor. You're helping enable this. Innocently, perhaps, but if you're not vigilant in preventing this sort of thing, then you're complicit. That is the attitude that we have to have going forward. If you are around someone who's under 18 specifically, or a woman, or anyone who would be a vulnerable minority within the context of the greater Smash scene, you need to proactively ensure their safety. Don't let them be alone, especially around people who have power, top players, commentators. As much it is human nature to look up to these people who have aspired and achieved what we aim to achieve, we have to separate their accomplishments from their character, right? A lot of these people are nerdy guys who made it big, and their work ethic is admirable. A lot of them are great people, but they're not religious figures. They're not necessarily morally good. And because Smash is meritocratic, and the top 1% of performers receive about 99% of the adoration, we're putting these people in a position to leverage their power. And most of them don't. I'd reckon most of them are pretty damn good people. But enough of them have proven that they will abuse this power when given the opportunity. So, I will say this. Double down on your vigilance. Protect those who would be the target of this abuse. And if you don't, you're complicit in their abuse. I will say this. Looking at the greater Smash community, I still have faith. I'm an optimist. And as horrible as these events are, and this is an opportunity for growth. This is so painful, but the only way to get through this is to come together and to heal. And to support each other. I think the result will be a greater Smash community, a place where the abusers will A, have already been eradicated, but B, where future abuse will be prevented. And so I would say don't give up on the Smash community. If you are a good person, if you're, going to be protecting, if you're the kind of person that would be protecting people who are vulnerable as opposed to abusing power given to them, then the Smash community needs you. It needs you more than it ever has before. And I think that a lot of good will come out of the horrific tragedies that have occurred. So what I mean to say is don't let this have occurred in vain. Okay, don't let all of their suffering go to waste. Okay? Listen to the victims and heal with them, and for their sake ensure that the Smash community is safer tomorrow. That's all I have to say. Goodbye.